In the endless night of the Titan Age, when sky and earth still trembled under the shadow of Cronus, a prophecy was cast. A son of Cronus will overthrow him, seizing the throne just as he once seized it from Uranus. Episode 4.1 Zeus, the one who wields lightning and claims the throne of Olympus. Chapter 1 The child Cronus failed to swallow. That prophecy pierced the heart of the Titan Lord like a dagger. Cronus, who had once proudly raised the sickle that severed his father's power, now felt fate itself sharpening a blade against him. And so, out of fear, he committed a terrible act. Every time Rhea, his gentle wife, the soft-hearted Mother Earth goddess, gave birth to a child, Cronus opened his mouth and swallowed it whole. Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, Hester, all were devoured into his belly, a prison of eternal darkness with no escape. The cries of infants vanished, echoing only within Rhea's heart, a wound that would never heal. She clutched her empty womb while her breasts overflowed with milk that would never feed her children. But when she became pregnant for the 6th time, Rhea could bear it no longer. She went to Mother Earth, Gaia, the eternal goddess who always stood with the oppressed, and pleaded, "Mother, please help me. I cannot watch another child torn from my arms."
Gaia, tender yet unyielding, taught Rhea a plan. When the time came to give birth, instead of handing her newborn son to Cronus, Rhea would offer him a great stone, swaddled in silken cloth like an infant. That night, in a hidden cave on the island of Crete, Zeus was born. No cry echoed beyond the rocky walls, for the Curetes nymphs danced and clashed their shields with swords, drowning out every sound that might reach Cronus's ears. The sweet milk of the divine goat Amalthea nourished the infant god. For the first time, Rhea held her child without fear, her eyes brimming with tears as she whispered, "Zeus, you are my only hope." And Cronus, when she brought him the stone wrapped in cloth, swallowed it without a second thought. In his belly, the stone crashed down upon the imprisoned children, and Cronus's cruel laughter thundered across the Titan realm. "No one escapes fate. I will forever be the ruler." Zeus grew in the darkness of Mount Ida's cave, raised by gods and nature itself. It is said that on the roof of the cave, drops of Amalthea's milk fell to the earth, and from them sprouted the tree of immortality, a symbol of destiny's protection. Zeus drank that milk, his body growing strong, his eyes burning with lightning's fire, his hands tightening as if they already grasped the power of the sky.
When he came of age, Gaia revealed the truth about his siblings. Rage blazed in the young god's heart, but this rage was not reckless. Zeus had learned patience, the very trait that set him apart from Cronus. He endured, He waited, he forged secret alliances, and he sought Metis, the goddess of wisdom. It was Metis who helped Zeus devise the plan to free his brothers and sisters. Through her magic, she gave Zeus a potion that would force Cronus to vomit everything he had ever swallowed. On a fated day, Zeus slipped the potion into Cronus's wine. The Titan Lord drank deep. Then agony tore through his insides. Cronus roared, convulsed, and one by one the captives spilled out. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. The children long imprisoned emerged at last, weakened, but their eyes blazed with the hunger for freedom. And in that moment, the wheel of fate turned. Zeus, the child who once escaped Cronus's jaws by trickery, now stood grown, leader of a new generation of gods, ready to ignite the uprising that would shake the entire cosmos.
Chapter 2: The Rebel and the War of Titanomachy. Heaven and earth shook the moment Cronus vomited out the children he had once kept imprisoned in darkness. They gathered around Zeus, bodies still frail from their long years in their father's belly, yet their eyes blazed with fury. Zeus looked at each one, then spoke with unwavering resolve. My brothers, my sisters, today we are born a second time. Shall we let this cruelty continue, or shall we rise together and shatter the chains of Cronus? Hades, his face pale from endless years in the dark, clenched his fists. I lived inside our father as though it were a tomb. I swear, though I must descend into the underworld itself, I will not allow him to rule another day. Poseidon, his eyes as deep as the sea, stormed with defiance. The wrath of the ocean will swallow Cronus whole. But Zeus, can you truly lead us? You are only the one who escaped death, while he once brought Uranus himself to his knees. Zeus smiled, a calm smile, yet charged with hidden strength. I am not alone. I have Mother Earth, Gaia. I have Metis, and I will have more allies still. Cronus has sown too many hatreds. Now those hatreds will become my sword and shield. And just as Zeus declared, the first allies appeared. From the depths of the earth, Gaia awakened the 300-handed ones, the Hekatonchires, giants with 100 arms and 50 heads, imprisoned by Uranus for fear of their strength. Their roars shook the sky as they were freed. Give us a battlefield, and we will hurl mountains at Cronus. Alongside them came the one-eyed Cyclopes, masters of the forge, who bestowed upon Zeus his legendary weapon, the thunderbolt, heaven's fire that no Titan could withstand. To Poseidon they gave the trident, to Hades the helm of invisibility. When the first thunderbolt cracked in Zeus's hand, the heavens trembled. Hera whispered to Demeter, "Do you see it, sister? That lightning, it is the sign that fate stands with us." Meanwhile, Cronus summoned the full might of the Titans, Oceanus, Hyperion, Iapetus, Crius, and countless Titan offspring.
Mount Olympus became their stronghold, while Zeus raised the banner of rebellion atop Mount Olympus, the mountain that would one day be the immortal kingdom.
The war began. The sound of mountains torn from the earth, the roar of seas, the thunder's deafening boom. This was Titanomachy, 10 endless years of battle. Once, in the midst of war, Zeus hurled himself straight at Cronus, lightning flashing in his hand. "Father, your throne is rotting. From this day forth, heaven and earth will no longer bear the yoke of Titans." Cronus bellowed, raising the sickle that had once struck down Uranus. "You are but a child still smelling of milk. This throne is mine, and your blood will sanctify it further." Father and son clashed. Lightning slashed the sky. The sickle tore the very air. Every strike toppled mountains and churned seas. From afar, Hera and Demeter watched with dread, while the Hecatontures laughed thunderously. "Throw more mountains, bury the Titans beneath the weight of Mother Earth herself." 10 years passed, like the breath of gods. Neither side gained the upper hand. But Zeus, with lightning in his grasp and the wisdom of Metis at his side, slowly turned the tide. In the final battle, Zeus summoned the full force of the storm. The sky blazed with fire. The earth cracked open. Cronus fell, his sickle clattering from his hand. The Titan army was crushed, their bodies bound by the chains of the 100-handed ones, then cast down into Tartarus, a pit of darkness more dreadful than the underworld itself. As Cronus was dragged away, he turned one last time toward Zeus, his eyes burning with hatred, yet shadowed by sorrow. "You think you've won? The blood of a son who slays his father will curse you. None escape fate, Zeus." Zeus stood silent, his eyes alight, but his heart untriumphant. For he knew the prophecy never lies. From that moment on, a new generation of gods ascended, claiming the heights of Olympus. But that throne and the thunder that crowned it were not only glory, they were the beginning of tragedy, of rivalries, of prophecies yet to be revealed. Chapter 3: The Division of the Cosmos and the Throne of Zeus. When the final thunder faded, the war of Titanomachy was over. The torn sky slowly stitched itself whole. The mountains returned to silence. But within the hearts of the young gods, a question echoed. Who would claim the eternal throne? Zeus stood among his brothers and sisters, the thunderbolt still in his hand. Scorch marks ran across his arms, his eyes red with exhaustion. Yet nothing dimmed his commanding presence. He raised his voice. "For 10 years we fought together. For 10 years we brought Cronus down. But now the cosmos must have a new order. We cannot all rule. We must divide the world." Poseidon, hair wild from the storm, struck his trident to the ground, waves surging around him. "I claim the sea. Its waters are my blood. Its roar beats within my heart. Let no one contest me for it. Hades, the helm of invisibility draped upon his shoulders, spoke in a voice as deep as the underworld itself. Then I shall take the realm of shadows, the place of souls where silence reigns. No light dares descend there, but I do not fear it. The underworld shall be my kingdom.
Hera gently took Zeus's hand, her words soft but resolute. And you, Zeus, you belong nowhere else but the heavens. Only the lightning in your grasp is worthy to carve the path to the throne upon Olympus. Zeus nodded, but he did not choose alone. To avoid discord, they drew lots, using twigs broken from the sacred oak of Dodona. Before the gathered gods, they surrendered fate to divine will. And when the lots were drawn, the results aligned with their desires. Zeus took the sky. Poseidon claimed the sea. Hades ruled the underworld. The earth and Olympus remained the shared ground where gods would assemble. Zeus raised his hand, lightning flashing, and proclaimed the oath. Sky, sea, earth, and the underworld, now divided and bound. Whoever trespasses into the realm of another shall face the wrath of us all. This is our first covenant, and my thunder shall bear witness. The bolt struck the earth, carving the oath into stone. From that moment, the cosmos held a new order. Yet the throne was never free of trial. The neutral titans, Oceanus, Helios, Selene, who had not taken part in the war, now cast doubtful eyes toward Zeus. Whispers spread. The son who overthrew his father, will his own children one day overthrow him?
Even Metis, the goddess of wisdom, his closest companion, looked at him and warned, Zeus, you are the victor, but remember, to rule requires more than strength. It demands wisdom and justice. Should you forget this, fate itself will turn against you. Zeus fell silent, his eyes lifted toward the sky. He knew the throne was no reward. It was a life sentence. On the day Zeus ascended, Olympus blazed for the first time like the dawn. The gods assembled, Hera, Demeter, Hestia, and his brothers, standing around a throne of white stone. The thunderbolt planted beside it radiated such power that even the giants bowed low. Hades stepped forward, speaking quietly to Zeus. This throne is yours now, but remember, I dwell below, in the shadows. If you call, I will raise an army of the dead. Poseidon lifted his trident, laughing. And I, the sea, shall be both your ally and your trial. Rule wisely, brother, or my waves will swallow Olympus whole. Zeus smiled, but did not answer. He sat upon the throne, thunder murmuring in his hand. In his eyes there was not only triumph, but the looming shadow of fate. For Zeus knew well the curse of Cronus, the warning of Metis, all lingered, waiting. and this throne might one day become his very tomb. Chapter 4: The First Trials of Zeus. When the flames of victory in the Titanomachy had barely died out, the universe seemed to enter an age of peace. The Olympian gods divided their power. Poseidon ruled the sea, Hades kept the underworld, while Zeus sat on the highest throne atop Olympus, master of the sky and keeper of cosmic order. But that throne had scarcely grown warm before it was shaken by brutal trials, coming from enemies outside, from rebellion within, and even from the very decisions Zeus himself had to make. 1. Typhon, the monster of Gaia. The Earth Mother Gaia, after seeing her Titan children chained in the abyss of Tartarus, seethed with hatred. She would not allow her proud offspring to be buried in darkness. Gaia called upon the night and the depths and birthed the most terrifying creature ever known, Typhon. Typhon was so massive, his head touched the sky. His black wings blotted out the heavens like a storm, and his roar shook the seas. Each step he took made the earth quake, mountains splitting asunder. In his hands burned blazing fire, his eyes shot fierce beams of light, and from his body sprouted hundreds of dragon heads, each hissing with horrifying cries. When Typhon appeared, the gods of Olympus trembled. Hera cried out, "This is what Gaia has sent to destroy us." Poseidon thrust his trident, but the waves he raised were crushed beneath Typhon's feet. The gods panicked. Many fled westward, and even Athena had to admit, only Zeus can face this monster. Zeus did not retreat. He seized his thunderbolts and stood tall atop Olympus, shouting, "No matter how many forces Gaia births from the darkness, I, Zeus, will keep the throne of the sky." The battle between Zeus and Typhon raged with fury. Lightning clashed against fire. The heavens burned red. Typhon struck Zeus down many times, even knocking the thunderbolt from his hand. Yet in the end, Zeus summoned all the might of the heavens and unleashed a storm of relentless thunderbolts, driving Typhon back toward Mount Etna. There he buried the monster beneath the earth, its furious breath forever seething as the fire of Etna's volcano. Typhon was imprisoned, and Olympus knew a brief peace. But fear lingered among the gods. So long as Gaia endured, the dark forces would never cease to rise. 2. Gigantomachy, the war with the giants. Typhon's defeat was not the end. Gaia sowed seeds of vengeance yet again. From the blood of Uranus that once fell upon the earth, her giant children, the Gigantes, were born. Huge, monstrously strong, with wings on their backs, serpents coiled around their heads, and eyes burning with fire. The war between the gods and the giants, the Gigantomachy, erupted with fury. Mountains were torn from the earth and hurled like pebbles. Each step of the giants collapsed the land. Rivers changed their course. Zeus summoned all Olympus to battle. Athena hurled her golden spear at Alcyoneus, the mightiest giant. Heracles, the mortal son of Zeus, was called forth. for prophecy declared that only the hand of a mortal could help the gods defeat the giants. Thunderous cries shook the skies. Poseidon ripped the island of Niceros and crushed Polybotis beneath it. Athena smote Enceladus and buried him under Mount Etna. Zeus once more hurled thunderbolts in endless storms, shattering the ranks of the Gigantes. Their blood soaked the earth, and from that place later grew thorny plants, living reminders of hatred. The Gigantomachy ended. Olympus's power shone brighter than ever. But within Zeus, unease never stilled. For if enemies beyond could be destroyed, the enemies within were far less predictable.
3. The rebellion on Olympus. Even atop Olympus itself, there came a day when the gods rose against Zeus. Hera, Zeus's wife, grew weary of his tyranny and of his countless affairs. She, together with Athena and Poseidon, once secretly plotted to bind him and strip him of his power. Zeus was lured to a feast where he was chained in unbreakable divine fetters. The gods rejoiced, mocking their arrogant king, now bound in shackles. But Thetis, goddess of the sea, quietly sought out the Hecatonchires, the hundred-handed god, and begged for aid. With his overwhelming strength, the Hecatonchires freed Zeus. And when Zeus seized the thunderbolt once more, terror swept across Olympus. The gods threw themselves down, pleading for mercy. Zeus only said coldly, "I will not forget this betrayal. The throne belongs to one alone." From then on, though he ruled alongside them, Zeus carved deep within his heart a vigilance that no one, not even wife or child, could ever share his throne. 4. Prometheus and the tragedy of mankind. Yet the greatest challenge to Zeus's power came from a titan who had survived the war, Prometheus. Prometheus, whose name means forethought, was a titan of profound wisdom and deep compassion for humankind. When Zeus built the new order, Prometheus supported him, helping shape mankind. But Zeus wished for humans to live in darkness, fearing and obeying the gods. Prometheus defied him. He secretly stole the sacred fire from Hephaestus's forge and gave it to mankind. From then, humans could cook food, forge iron, and craft tools. They grew stronger, more confident, no longer bowing before the gods as before. Zeus was furious. He roared, "That fire is the privilege of the gods. Prometheus, you dare defy my power!" Zeus ordered Prometheus chained to the cliffs of the Caucasus. Each day a giant eagle tore open his chest and devoured his liver. Each night it grew back, only for the torment to begin anew at dawn. The punishment stretched on for 1,000 years, a tragedy without end. Yet Prometheus remained defiant. He smiled through agony, whispering to the winds, "Zeus may chain my body, but he cannot chain my mind nor my love for mankind." His proud silence made Zeus all the more uneasy. He knew that power forged by thunderbolts could endure, but hearts, both mortal and divine, could never be bound forever.
Epilogue. These first trials proved that the throne of Olympus was not the final prize of victory, but the beginning of endless conflict and rebellion. Zeus could defeat Typhon, crush the Gigantes, punish Prometheus, and even subdue his own family. But his unease never faded. He was king, yet always a king besieged, facing threats from beyond the cosmos and from within Olympus itself. Such is the nature of supreme power, radiant as lightning, yet lonely as a mountain peak in a storm. Chapter 5. The Endless Loves and Jealous Rages of Hera. Olympus was never a mountain of peace. Even seated on the throne of the cosmos, Zeus could not chain down his wandering heart. Time and again, it drifted down to the mortal world, chasing after radiant goddesses and beautiful women of flesh and blood. His love, or rather his hunger, was like a fire that never burned out. Yet that very fire scorched the calm of the divine household. For Hera, his rightful wife, would never accept sharing her husband with anyone. 1. Zeus and Metis, the goddess of wisdom. In the fragile dawn after the Titanomachy, when Olympus's throne was still young, Zeus turned to Metis, daughter of Oceanus and Tethys, goddess of wisdom. She did not blaze like Eos, nor tower with majesty like Rhea, but her quiet light of intelligence never dimmed. It was Metis who had guided Zeus, crafting the potion that forced Cronus to spew out his devoured children. One windless day by the primeval shore, Zeus murmured to her, "With your wisdom beside me, the throne of Olympus will never tremble." Metis looked deep into the sky-born youth. "But Zeus, do you know, fate has already written, our son will one day be stronger than you." The word struck like a cold blade. In that instant, Zeus saw Cronus quaking at prophecy, and Uranus falling beneath his own son. Zeus hesitated, torn between fear and desire, but longing won. They joined in love, half yearning, half dread, and when Metis carried his child, nightmares stalked Zeus. Thunder booming in his dreams, visions of a child's hand tearing the lightning bolt from his grasp. At last, fear turned to action. One dawn, Zeus pretended tenderness, then suddenly transformed and swallowed Metis whole. His heart clenched. It was crime and self-defense at once. Yet Metis did not perish. She lived inside him, whispering softly, becoming the eternal voice of wisdom in his mind, until the day a hammering agony split his skull. Zeus howled, the gods rushed in terror. Hephaestus, or some say Prometheus, seized an axe and struck Zeus's brow, and from the crack leapt Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategy, armored in gleaming bronze, her war cry ringing like thunder. Thus the tale speaks twice. Destiny cannot be swallowed, and Zeus proved wiser than his fathers. No son to overthrow him, but a daughter of wisdom, born from his very being. 2. Zeus and Themis, justice beside power. After Metis, Zeus sought Themis, goddess of eternal law and order. She was not dazzling like youthful maidens, but an austere majesty radiated from her that even Zeus revered. In the raw chaos of Olympus's first days, he needed a partner, not only a consort, but a lamp to guide his choices. It is told that once Zeus gazed upon mankind and sighed, seeing quarrels, theft, war unending. 2. If my power makes the world tremble but not live more justly, then my throne is nothing but shadow. Themis answered calmly, power lasts only when bound by law. Strength is the blade, but justice is the hand that holds it firm. Zeus bowed his head. From that union of might and law came 6 daughters, the Morai, fates who cut the thread of life, and the Horae, seasons who turn the wheel of time. They became the pillars that tied Zeus's reign to the order of the cosmos. People said, without Themis, Zeus's throne was the sword of a despot. With her and their children, it became the throne of a lawful king. 3. Zeus and Mnemosyne, memory shaped into song. But Zeus did not stop. From justice, he turned to memory. Mnemosyne, titaness of remembrance, welcomed him. For 9 nights Zeus lay with her, and from their love sprang the 9 muses, goddesses of poetry, song, and art. Legends whisper that Zeus seduced her with a tale without end, a promise that memory, once dressed in verse and melody, would never fade. And when the muses first sang, Olympus quaked. Even Ares stilled his sword to listen. Hera only frowned, for she knew these children had made Zeus immortal in the memory of mankind. The muses were more than daughters. They were Zeus's softest weapon, carrying his name through all ages. Zeus and Hera, love, jealousy, and the immortal throne. But the throne of Olympus required a queen to reign beside him, and that queen was Hera, sister, wife, and greatest rival of Zeus's life. Hera was nothing like Metis. She was proud, resplendent, the very embodiment of marriage, family, and divine order. Many times she had rejected Zeus, scorning his reckless passions. Legend says Zeus had to resort to trickery to win her heart. One day, he transformed into a trembling cuckoo bird, shivering in a storm, and landed in Hera's hand. Moved by pity, she held the tiny bird to her breast. At that instant, Zeus revealed his true form, seized her, and pleaded, "Only you are worthy to stand beside me upon Olympus. Be the queen of the heavens." Hera burned with fury, yet pity had already been sown in her heart. At last, after many refusals, she consented. The wedding of Zeus and Hera blazed with magnificence. Every god and every creature gathered. From the garden of the Hesperides, the golden apple tree was offered as a wedding gift, a symbol of eternity and joy. Never had Olympus seen such splendor. The gods assembled, rivers sang, the very earth seemed to hold its breath. Gaia herself presented the branch of golden apples from the Hesperides, a gift of immortality, a symbol of marriage and power everlasting. In those first years, Zeus and Hera appeared the perfect couple. Zeus, majestic yet generous, Hera, stately and formidable. They bore many of Olympus's most powerful gods: Ares, the fierce god of war; Eileithyia, protector of childbirth; Hebe, goddess of youth; and Hephaestus, the divine smith. Each child strengthened Zeus's throne, turning their marriage into the very pillar of the divine order.
Yet perfection was but a veil. Behind it surged storms untold. Zeus was by nature unrestrained, ever hungry for beauty, ever driven to conquer. Though Hera reigned as his queen, he still stole away to goddesses, nymphs, even mortal women. And Hera, the goddess of marriage, never forgave betrayal. Her jealousy was no fragile sorrow, but a wrath fierce enough to shake Olympus itself. Once, when Zeus lusted after the nymph Io, Hera forced him to transform the girl into a white cow to hide her. But Hera was not so easily deceived. She demanded the cow as a gift and set the 100-eyed Argus to guard it. Thus Io wandered the earth in misery, victim of Hera's relentless fury. Another time, with Semele, princess of Thebes, Hera disguised herself as an old woman and whispered, "If Zeus truly loves you, bid him appear in all his splendor." Semele begged, and Zeus, bound by oath, revealed his blazing glory. The lightning consumed her, leaving Zeus in eternal grief, and from his thigh Dionysus was born. Every secret affair of Zeus became a battle between husband and wife. Zeus sought freedom. Hera clung to legitimacy. Both were unyielding. Both wielded power. At times, Hera even conspired with other gods to overthrow him. Once, she joined Poseidon and Athena in binding Zeus. But the sea god Nereus warned Thetis, who summoned Briareus, the 100-handed giant, to free him. Zeus's rage shook Olympus, and Hera was hung from the heavens, shackled in golden chains for all gods to see and fear. Yet strangely, the love between Zeus and Hera never shattered completely. After every betrayal, after every storm of jealousy, they found their way back to one another. Hera once confessed to the goddesses, "He is my wound, and also my soul." And Zeus, though chasing pleasures across earth and sky, never displaced Hera from the throne of queen, for only she was equal to his might. From this union, Greek myth drew both tragedy and vitality. Zeus and Hera became the very image of marriage, eternal, sacred, yet fraught with conflict and trial. And from this royal pair, the tale unfolded into a long chain of other loves. Zeus scattering his seed across Olympus and the world, with Leto, with Demeter, with Maia, with Mnemosyne. Each union etched into the fabric of myth, each child rising as a god of renown. 5. Leto, the wandering mother.
On a pure early morning, when the first rays of Hyperion still brushed the sky with gold, Zeus met Leto, the gentle goddess of soft light and quiet night. She was not as radiant as Eos of dawn, nor as mysterious as Selene of the moonlit night, but she carried a tender beauty Zeus could not resist. He came close to her and whispered, "Leto, you are as gentle as water beneath the moon. Let me see your light shine through the children you will bear." Leto, innocent and unresisting, became Zeus's lover. But as soon as Hera knew, her fury blazed. Hera did not kill Leto, but she swore to make her suffer. She roamed the world, commanding all lands and islands to refuse Leto shelter when she gave birth. The whole earth seemed to turn its back on the pregnant goddess. Leto, her belly growing heavy, drifted in the winds, begging each land, but all stayed silent. In the end, only one small island, barren and drifting on the sea, Delos, showed compassion and opened its arms. There, in pain and solitude, Leto gave birth to the twins, Artemis, goddess of the hunt, and Apollo, god of light, music, and prophecy. These two children would become Zeus's greatest pride and living proof that his love, though opposed by Hera, still left an eternal mark. Hera could not prevent their birth, but her hatred deepened another layer. Commentary. The story of Leto reveals two sides of Zeus, reckless in passion, yet fiercely protective of his children. At the same time, it carves out the cruelty of Hera, a powerful but jealous wife, who always turned Zeus's love into suffering for other women.
6. Demeter, love from the fields of grain. Zeus did not only go to strange goddesses, but also to his own kin. Demeter, his sister, goddess of harvest and grain, once yielded to Zeus's embrace. From that union, Persephone was born. But the story did not stop with her birth. It was Zeus himself, for the sake of politics, who gave Persephone to Hades, the god of the underworld. Demeter cried out in anguish, wandering the earth searching for her daughter. When Persephone descended into the dark, the harvest withered. The earth grew barren. Humanity starved. Zeus was forced to intervene. He ordered Hades to return the child. But because Persephone had eaten the pomegranate seeds of the underworld, she could only come back for half the year. The other half, she must stay with Hades. From that, the cycle of seasons was born. Spring and summer when Persephone returned. Autumn and winter when she went below. One could say that in this very love, both passionate and bitter, Zeus gave shape to one of nature's unchanging laws. Zeus loved his daughter, yet it was he who allowed Hades to seize her, beginning the cycle of the 4 seasons for humankind. Hera did not need to interfere. It was Zeus's hunger for power that sowed tragedy for Demeter and her child. "You promised to protect our daughter," Demeter cried to Zeus. "No one escapes fate," Zeus replied coldly. Here we see another Zeus, not only the lover, but the ruler willing to sacrifice even family ties to preserve the balance of power.
7. Maya, the love in the dark night. Unlike Leto and Demeter, Maya, daughter of the Titan Atlas, was a recluse, living in a deep cave on Mount Selene. Shy, withdrawn, rarely appearing at gatherings of the gods. Perhaps it was that very seclusion that drew Zeus to her. He came to her in darkness, hiding from Hera's wrath. Their love was not loud, but secret, like an affair hidden in the shadows. No tragedy, no resistance, only swiftness, secrecy, and from it Hermes was born, the sly, quick god, protector of merchants and thieves. Hera raged, but Hermes was too clever, too charming with his words. In time, even she accepted him, and Hermes became her trusted messenger. Zeus loved Maya for her silence, but their son embodied wit and noise, a paradox in myth, showing how even furtive affairs could leave lasting imprints on divine order. 8. Europa. Hera's jealousy never ends. One day, Zeus beheld Europa, princess of Phoenicia, gathering flowers by the sea. Young, carefree, she captured Zeus's heart at once. To hide from Hera, Zeus turned into a beautiful white bull, gentle and tame. Europa, seeing its docile nature, climbed upon its back. In an instant, Zeus carried her across the waves to the island of Crete, where he revealed his true self. From their love, Minos was born, the legendary king of Crete. But Hera did not let peace remain. She poured her jealousy upon Europa and her children, weaving endless tragedies into their fates. 9. Io, the maiden turned into a cow. Once more, Zeus fell for Io, a priestess of Hera. But when Hera discovered, Zeus panicked and turned Io into a white cow. Hera feigned gentleness, asking for the cow as a gift. Zeus could not refuse. She set Argus Panoptus, the 100-eyed guardian, to watch Io day and night. Zeus, heartbroken but powerless, sent Hermes. With music and cunning, Hermes lulled Argus to sleep and struck him down. Hera, in mourning, placed Argus's eyes upon the tail of her peacock. Yet she did not stop. She sent a maddened gadfly to torment Io, chasing her across the world in suffering and humiliation. The tale of Io became one of the deepest tragedies, showing the fierce clash between Zeus's desire and Hera's endless wrath. Here, myth is not only romance or tragedy, it reflects the eternal conflict between the longing for freedom and the laws of marriage, between male power and the voice of women. Hera stands as a symbol of resistance, Zeus as the embodiment of desire and boundless rule. Conclusion. The loves of Zeus and Hera's jealous fury are not mere anecdotes. They are foundations of Greek mythology. From them sprang gods, heroes, and tragedies, all fragments of a world where mortals and gods, love and jealousy, power and pain endlessly intertwine. Thus, Olympus was never at peace. Upon the throne, Zeus remained king of the gods, but beneath the crown, he was forever the lover, forever the storm bringer, to gods and to humankind alike.
Beyond that, in his dealings with mankind, Zeus left behind countless tales, spirals of fever and punishment, of creation and destruction, where mortals were at once cherished children and disposable pawns of the gods. Looking back, the figure of Zeus emerges as a paradox. He gives, yet he takes away. He saves, yet he destroys. He grants mankind hope, then sows despair in the very same breath. The ancient Greeks absorbed this lesson from their highest god. Life is never given freely. It always comes bound with suffering, with a price that mortals must pay. And Zeus, in his role as supreme ruler, did nothing more than remind mankind of their limits, so that they trembled, so that they bowed their heads, yet still clung to hope. Like, share, and follow to be notified when the next chapter arrives. Thank you.